So approval process is basically, an automated process which can be used for approving some of the data. All right, and it's pretty similar to workflow rule, but it involves approval or rejection of the record, right? So in an approval process, what happens, we can define an automatic approval process where one person can create a record and submit that record for approval. And we define an approver who can either approve or reject that record. So that record can be anything. It can be an opportunity, it can be an order, it can be a contract, right? So, or any data in any of the custom object. So, think about certain situations where, some data needs to be approved. Let's say, you're taking an order, you create an order, and then you just want to make sure that that order is approved. You might want to get it approved from the production department, or you might want to get it approved from one of the senior members in the company, right? So that's what an approval process is. And this using approval process, this entire thing can be automated and it can be completely done within Salesforce. All right. So the no manual approval required and all that. Okay. So first of all, let's understand what kind of an approval process we create, and then we'll look into how do we create an approval process. So this process will be like a record is created, then submitted for approval. Okay. The person who creates the record submits it for approval. Okay. Approver receives a request to approve. Now approver either rejects or approves. Okay, he has both the options. He can reject or he can approve it. And based on approver's action, a record gets updated. That's the process. Alright, so any record which needs an approval, first of all, that record needs to be created into the system. After that, it is submitted for approval. The moment it's submitted for the approval, approver automatically receives a request that this record, this order or whatever requires your approval. Then it's up to him to either approve or reject it. Okay, he can approve it, he can reject it, whatever he feels like. Whatever action he takes, based on that, the actual record gets updated, either approved or rejected. Got it? So that's the thing. That's how simple it is. The approval process. Okay, so this is the flow of things which will happen in an approval process. Step 1, 2, 3. Now, how do we define it? Let's look into that. So there are a few things which we need to be defined while you're creating an approval process. We need to take a few things into consideration. What are those few things? Point one is criteria. Is there a criteria for the records which need approval? Second is approver. Who is the approver? You also have to define who is the approver. Okay. Third is action. What action happens when the record is submitted? What happens when the record is submitted for approval? What happens when the record is approved? What happens when the record is rejected? So actions need to be defined here. Okay, and actions are at different stages. When the record is submitted, when it is rejected, and when it is approved. Okay, so you need to define action when the record is submitted, what should happen. If it is rejected, what should happen. If it is approved, what should happen, right? So actions need to be defined for each stage. All right, so that's about the approval process. Got it? Now let's define an approval process, and we will do an example. So let's take a scenario. Let's say my company has a system. Any opportunity with amount greater than 50,000 requires an approval from XYZ user. Any user, it can be anyone. Okay. So let's say this is the process. Any opportunity with an amount 50,000 greater than 50,000 requires an approval. Let's say that is the requirement that I have. Now, how do I deal with this, or how do I create an approval process for this? So now try to break it into these. All right. Criteria. What is the criteria here? Even before criteria, you just have to define the object. Okay. Which can we just break this requirement into these things to answer these questions? So what is the object here? What is the object here? Anyone quickly? Which object are we talking here?
Opportunity.
Opportunity. What is the criteria? What is the criteria here?
Greater than 50,000.
Amount greater than 50,000. Okay. Who is the approver? Who is the approver here?
XYZ.
XYZ is the approver, right? So whoever in the situation. All right. Now the action part. Okay. So what will happen when the record is submitted? What will happen when the record is rejected and approved? For the action part, we'll have to look into. So what sort of action we want to do here? That's something which is not defined. So this is again the next level of thing which you have to understand, that what actually you want to do when a record is approved or rejected. All right. I would just want to mark that record as pending, approved, or rejected. Okay. So what I want to do is mark it as approved. So if the record is approved, it should be marked as approved. If it is rejected, then it should be marked as rejected. I just want to do this, let's say. And if it is submitted, I just want to mark it as pending. It's pending for approval. Let's say, that's what we want to do. So, for basically, how do I tag a record or mark a record as approved or pending or rejected? For that, let's create a pick list field. Okay. So let's say I want to have a pick list field called approval status. And this approval status has the options of approved, rejected, and pending. All right. So that's what I actually plan to do. So first of all, let me create this approval status field. This is a pick list field. I'll create this, and I will just update the value of this based on the approval stage. All right. That's what we will do. So let's start with creating a pick list field here, because you need some mechanism. Why I'm creating this approval status field? Because you need some mechanism to differentiate between the approved records and the rejected records, right? There should be some field that indicates whether this record was approved or not. Otherwise, how will you understand? Right? You can just send an email also. You might not update the field, but sending an email, is not enough. Right. So if you just send an email that this record was updated and the record actually is not marked as an approved or a rejected record, you might make a mistake sometime later. So for that reason, it's important that most of the cases, wherever you have an approval process, working on a certain object, you need to have an approval status so that the records can be differentiated, the ones which are pending and the ones which are rejected and the ones which are approved. Okay. So 95, 99% of cases, you will require this approval status kind of a field on the object. Fine. Sending an email might not be enough. Okay, so let me just, Manjit, can you please share the password? Let me just create this approval process now.
I have shared it, Jeet.
Yeah, just got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So first thing that we'll start up with is create the approval status field on opportunity. So to do that, we just need to go to customize, and then we can go to opportunities, and then we can go to fields and create a new field. And the field type is going to be pick list, right? New field data type will be pick list. Connect approval status. Options here are pending, approved, rejected, recalled. Okay, if someone submits it for approval and then recalls it, that will be the recall status, right? Now this field, I'll make it as a read-only field. Why I'm making it read-only field? Because I just want people to manually, I don't want anyone to manually change the field values. Yes, it's something which needs to be controlled through my approval process and not manually, right? So if I have rejected something, let's say I'm the approver and Ajinkya has submitted something for approval, and if I've rejected it, he should not have that option to edit that field. Otherwise, the rejected thing, he will go and approve it. So that's the reason why while you're creating an approval status field, it's good to make it a read-only field. Go to next, save it. Okay. So the approval status field is ready. What is the next thing that we have to do? We have to start creating the approval process. So let's create the approval process. Okay. All right. So let's create the approval process. We just go to setup, create workflow and approvals, and then we can go to approval process. Now you can actually start creating your approval process depending on what you defined here. Object is opportunity, criteria is amount greater than 50,000, approver. So everything is pretty much planned here. So now it's easy for us. Just go ahead and which object? Opportunity, right? So where is opportunity? Here it is. Create new approval process. You can use the jumpstart wizard. Give a name of approval. Okay. That's how it is. Criteria. So we have given a name to the approval process. Now the next thing is criteria. My criteria is amount greater than 50,000. Right. Now we have to select the approver. Now there are three options for selecting approver. Okay. Defining the approver, you have three options. One, you can give the choice to the submitter, the person who is submitting it for approval. He can choose the approver. All right. But that's something which we don't want. Second is you can automatically assign an approver using a standard custom hierarchy field. So if there is a hierarchy field like manager or someone, you can actually assign it to the manager of the current user. Okay, that's an option. Third option is you assign it to a specific user. All right. So we'll go with the third option. Let's say we are talking about XYZ user here. That XYZ is, let's say, this user. Okay. So if you have a specific user, do this. If you want the submitter to choose the approver, select the first one. If you want, if you have the hierarchy defined within your company, then you can actually assign it through the hierarchy. Okay. Now, that's it. If you have more approvers, more than one approver, then you can add more rows here. Okay. Now, I'll come to this multiple approver thing a little later. I'll talk about this. Let's just get into the single approver thing. So select the approver and go to save. Okay. So we have already defined our criteria and the approver, right? Object, criteria, approver. Only thing which is left is the action. And if you see here, you have the actions, as I told you earlier, that you need to define action for different stages: when it is submitted, when it is rejected, when it is approved. The same way you see initial submission actions, approval actions, rejection actions, recall actions. So what happens at these stages, that's what needs to be defined. So in the submission action, you can just go to add new and do the field update. This time, as I told you, email alert is not the best thing to do here. Field update is the best thing. And which field we are going to update? The approval status, correct? So initial submission action should be a field update. The approval status field should get updated to pending. Click on this. Just give it any name for the update. Which field we want to update? Approval status. I want to make it pending. Save. So initial submission action is go and update that field into pending. For approval action, final approval action, you can just add one more field update and make it approved. For rejection action, just go to the same field and make it rejected. And for recall action, make it recalled. So these updates will happen automatically depending on the stage of the approval process. And yeah, so these updates will happen automatically depending on the stage of the approval process, and your approval process will automatically control the values of these this field, right? And depending on that, you can understand whether the record was approved or rejected. All right. So that's it. My approval process is pretty much ready. So everything that I have to define, I have already defined. Object, criteria, approver, actions. Everything is set. One final thing that you have to do is you have to activate the approval process. The way we talked about validation rule and workflow rules, they need to be activated before they start functioning. The same way approval process also needs to be activated. Okay. Before you activate it, you can also look into the diagram, because it's a slightly longer process as compared to the workflows and validations. That's the reason why there is a diagram which Salesforce provides you, so that you can quickly have a look onto it and understand what exactly your process is. So there is an entry criteria. Okay, entry criteria is amount greater than 50,000. If that's true, the approval process gets started. All right. After that, it goes into the initial submission. Okay. After submission, if there's a recall, it goes here, the final recall action. Otherwise, it either gets approved. If it gets approved, then it comes here. If it gets rejected, it comes here. So opportunity rejected, opportunity recalled, and opportunity approved. Got it? So this is a flow chart. Just for your understanding, I mean, in case you need to understand the process, how your approval process is working, this is how it should be. Activated. Okay. So your approval process is activated, and it's live now, and it's ready to function. So all that we have to do is we have to just create a record and check if the approval process is working. Okay. Before I go there, I think Vipula has a question. Vipula, we are defining the actions. So pick list values we have not selected one by one. One is submission action, one is approval action, one is rejection action. Is that clear? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not able to get your question. Can you elaborate a little? When the record is submitted, submission action means action that you want to do when the record is submitted for approval, right? So submission action, I define that the field value should become, okay. So for submission action, I say approval status should become equal to pending. Okay. The same way for rejected, I say if the record is rejected, go and update the field value to rejected. So that's what we have done there. If it is approved, then mark it as approved. Please quickly type in if you still have any doubt. Since your microphone is not working, I think you'll have to be a little fast with your keyboard. Is that clear now? Yeah, thank you. So that's what we have done there, all right? So for different stages, we have defined different values to the same field, what it should get updated to. Thank you. All right. So approval process is ready. We have defined actions and everything, activated it. Now let's go and create an opportunity to check whether my approval process is working fine or not. All right. So just go ahead and create a new opportunity. Of 345 amount entry criteria is minimum 50,000 amount, right? So let me put 60,000. Put some values. Can we have the microphones on mute, please? Yes. Okay. So the opportunity is created. Now let's go back to the process that I explained to you how this works. Record is created, then it is submitted for approval. Let's have a quick look onto this. So the record needs to be created, then it needs to be submitted for approval, and then the approver receives a request to approve. So ideally in this case, Manjit is the approver, he should receive a request to approve when we submit it for approval. Then he will approve or reject it, and based on that the record should get updated, right? So record creation is done. The next thing which needs to be done is submitting it for approval. So to submit the record for approval, you just have to scroll down and you will see there is a button called submit for approval. Just need to click on the submit for approval button, click on OK, and this record gets submitted for approval. Got it? The moment I made it submit for approval, see the status has become pending automatically. This is what we define in our actions. When the record is submitted for approval, change the value into pending. That's what we did, right? It has automatically become pending and the record has been submitted for approval. Now Manjit, can you please go ahead and check your email if you have received an email request for approval?
Yeah, I have received. I pasted it on the chat window.
Yeah, so I will just need to share your screen for a while. Just
Okay.
please open that email.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's because Manjit was the approver defined, so he automatically received an email, right, with the link where he can actually go and approve or reject the record. So let's just have a quick look onto his screen to understand how the approver. Now we have understood from one side how the record is being submitted for approval, right? Now how the approver deals with that. Let's have a quick look into that part. Manjit, you are still not sharing your screen. Can you share it?
Okay, I'm just.
Okay.
Can you see my screen, Jeet?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Can you just open that email? Yes. So this
Yeah,
is
it is
this
open
is
now, Chief.
got it. So this is the email that the approver will receive. All right. Where he gets the link which he can use for rejecting or approving the record. Now click on that link. Just click on that link. Now, if you are the approver, then you should, or whoever is the approver should ideally click on that link. After he clicks on the link, he will be required to, log in. So Salesforce will ask for the login ID and password. You can just put the login ID and password. And after this login is done, he will have that option of approving or rejecting the record. See. So he can see the details and he has the option of putting a comment and then approving or rejecting. Now, did you approve it? Have you clicked on anything? Okay, he has approved it. Now, let's come back to my screen. So, I am the one who has submitted the record. So let's come back to my screen and see what changes does it make to the actual record.
Should I click on stop sharing now, Jeet?
No, I will just make myself present. That will automatically go on.
Okay, okay.
All right, so now we are on my screen, and if I refresh this record, earlier it was pending, right, when I submitted it for approval. Now if you just refresh this record, by now this record has got changed into an approved record because the approver approved it. Got it? And you can also go, scroll down in the history to check. Initially it was submitted for approval at 5:04 a.m. and then at 5:08 a.m. it was approved. And there's a person who approved it, right? So you can actually see the history also here. Got it? So this entire process is completely automated, and you see how simple it is now. So that long approval process are not required. So only thing that the person who has created the record needs to do is just go and submit it for approval, and the other person actually receives you know uh, the approval request, and based on his requirement, he either approves or rejects. Got it? So that's this thing. That is all which needs to be done. Just give me 1 minute. Just give me one moment. Yes. Hello. Yep. So tell me, is that clear? The approval process thing? Let me know if you have any difficulty understanding this. So only thing that we have to understand is which object you are defining the approval process for. Just it's more like answering a few questions before you start creating the approval process. Again, simplify your big requirement into small pieces. All right. Understand which object you are creating it for. Do you have a criteria? You may or may not have an entry criteria. Let's say this example we were talking about only records where amount is greater than 50,000, they require approval, right? But sometimes your company may have a system that all opportunities require approval, so then you can just skip this part. You may not have a criteria, right? Then defining the approver. So while we're talking about approver, we have three options as we saw. Okay, let submitter choose approver, assign using a hierarchy, and assign to a specific user. So these three options are there, right, for the approval. And then comes the action. So in the action part, you have actions for submission, approval, rejection, and recall. Sometimes you can skip the actions for the recall because you might not want to do anything if the record is recalled. But again, you have the choice of defining actions for recall also. So these are the only things which can happen. Either the record will be submitted. After that, after once it is submitted, either it will be recalled by the user, or it will be approved, or it will be rejected. There's nothing else which actually happens here, right? So you can define action for every stage. That's it. All right. Okay. Now, the next level of concept. Do we need, okay, Vipula has a question. Do we need to define same action every time we create a approval process? No, you can define whatever action you have. Why will you define same action? Your company is different, your business logic is different, my company is different. So, your actions will be different from my actions. Got it? But we'll have to work within the limits of Salesforce, whatever Salesforce has allowed. You cannot say that I will define an action which is not permitted within the list of actions which Salesforce allows, which are like email alert, field update, and task. That's what we were talking yesterday. So we'll have to perform action based on what they have allowed only.
Jeet, one question.
Mm-hmm.
As in, for any approval process, should we have a pick list?
No, not required.
Okay. So the approval can also happen through email, is it?
It can happen, but the problem will be that if you have received an email today,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and after 5 days, if you look into that record, will you, remember that I received an email for this record? We are talking about 5,000 records, let's say, right? So that is the thing. So it's good to have a field whenever there is an approval process associated with an object. It's good to have a field on that object which actually can, differentiate between an approved record and the rejected record, right?
Yeah.
Let's
So
say
the
you
only,
are creating. Sorry, just give me 1 second. If you are
yeah.
creating approvals for, sorry, if you have created an approval process for orders, okay, and all the orders go for approval request, you don't need to create a pick list field. That's not required. The action for approval, you can just define it as an email alert. Okay, email goes to you, and you get to know that, okay, fine, this order is approved and this is rejected. But if you look into that after 2 days or 3 days, you will have a difficulty. So that's for ease of the end user. From the Salesforce side, it's not something mandatory. Yeah, you tell me.
Okay. So the only way the approver comes to know record is pending for approval is when a email when he or she receives the email, right? Even if we have a pick list field.
See, even if you have a pick list field, there can be different approvers who are receiving different records, right? So an approver does not actually go to the record and pick all the pending records and start approving. No,
Mm-hmm.
you can only approve records which have been sent to you for approval, right?
Okay.
So you either see it on the email that you have received, or there is on the home page. There is a section which is called pending approval request. So the person who is the approver can actually go to his home page and see if which all records are pending for approval from items to approve here. Okay.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
approver can actually see those things here also, but he will definitely not go into the object and see the records. Because some records might be pending from your side and some records might be pending from my side also. Right. So that's how it is.
So in that case, I believe this would be a easier way to
Items to
access
approve.
the items to approve, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it depends, what kind of volume you have. If you are receiving just one approval request in a day, then I think email is also okay. But yeah, if you are receiving, let's say 25, 30, and you do not have that much of time to, go back and click on the link through every email, then maybe this is the better way, right? It depends on the
but
volume.
still in a real time, Jeet, if it is org which all the users are constantly using the Salesforce application, then ideally, I mean, they would tend to go to this homepage and see, okay, is there any approval? If
Right. So that's what,
okay,
if it is, as I told you, if it is something which is a little more frequent, volume is a little high, then this is the best way. If it is like, you get one approval request once in a week, then you can just, go ahead and click, and you know that there is no other approval. You can just click on that link
sure.
also. So that's it. And that email is more for, from the notification point of view. All right.
Right, yeah.
So clear on this? All right. Now, the next concept, a simple concept, is of multiple approvers. What if I have multiple approvers? So far, we are talking about one approver. Okay. Then, when there are multiple approvers, then you can have two situations. Okay. When you have multiple approver, one situation can be, let's say there are two approvers, A and B. Okay, for a certain record. Okay. Now, when you have two approvers for the same record, you can have the situation, both need to approve, anyone can approve. So the record will be considered approved if any one of them approves, right? So while we are defining the approval process, I showed you that you have an option of adding more approvers there. Okay. So when you say automatically assign it to approver or approvers, you have the choice of putting it to multiple approvers. Let's say one of my approver is this. I have one more approver, this. So whenever I'm defining multiple approver, I will have either of these two options. Either I want the record to be approved by both of them, and then only it should be considered as approved, or the other situation can be if one of them approves, it should be considered as approved. Okay. So if you just want the first response, select this one, approve or reject based on the first response. Okay, so if first person rejects it, reject the record, that should be considered as final rejection. If the first person approves it, consider it as an approval. All right. The other option is require unanimous approval from all selected approvers. So this is the one where both of them need to approve. If you have multiple approvers, it will be considered as an approved record only when both of them approve. If one person approves and the other person does not approve, no use. Got it? Let me know if there is any question or doubt here. Simple. All right. So that's how we actually deal with multiple approvers. Okay. Now there is one more small thing which I would want to talk here is approving or rejecting via email. Sometimes the approver might not want to click on the link and then go and then approve and all that stuff. Okay, he might want to just approve or reject the record through an email, right? So for that you have to do a small setting change. You just need to go to setup, create workflow as approval, go to settings, okay, and there is an option called enable email approval response. Okay, just go ahead and enable it. Earlier it was not enabled. Now we have enabled this. Save it. Now let me submit a record for approval, and you yourself will see the difference. Let me submit the same record for approval again. Yes. So Manjeet will receive the email once again. Manjeet, can you please check if you have received an email, and can you share your screen? I just want to show what difference it makes in the approval process. Have you received the email?
Yeah, I received it, Ajit. So how do I share now?
I am
Okay.
making you presenter. All right.
Okay.
So earlier, first of all, you open the previous email, the one that you received earlier. First of all, open that email.
Is it visible now, Ajit?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. How's it now?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Can anyone see his screen? Is it only with me? I'm not able to see.
No, I'm not able to see it.
Okay, so I think still it's not sharing.
Yeah.
Let me make you presenter once again. Let me just
Okay.
make myself presenter and then change it to you.
I just need to select the entire screen, right, Ajit?
Yes,
Okay, and share.
yes, now it's sharing. Okay,
Okay,
now you
great.
can actually show us the email. The firstly shows the previous email, the first one. This is the first one, right? This
Yeah,
is the
this
first one.
is
Yeah, correct. See, now when email response was not enabled, can you just go to that email? Yeah. Every time you come to GoToMeeting, it goes away. All right. Yeah. So when email response was not enabled, this is the email that he received, just with the link. Okay. And he had the option of clicking on the link, and then if you read the last line, it says, "Please click this link to approve or reject this record." So only option that the approver has is to click on the link and approve or reject the way he did. Okay. Now let's see the other email that he has received now after enabling the email response. Can you show us that email? Now the email response has been enabled. Let's see, what difference it has made. Okay. Now after the link, there is a little small, story where it says that he can also reply to this email with one of these words in the first line of this message. And if replying via email, you also add comments in the second line. Okay. So he has now, an option of replying to this email for approving or rejecting. So you don't have to necessarily click on the link anymore. You can just reply to this email with one of these words in the first line of the email message. So if you reply to this, you just say reply, and you mention approve, approved, or yes in the first line, the record will be approved. If you say reject, rejected, or no in the first line, it will reject the record. The record will be considered to be rejected. Got it? But you just have to make sure that you follow that format. You should not write any other extra word in the first line. If you want to add a comment, put it in the second line. That's it. So the thing in the first line will go into will be considered for approval or rejection, and the second line thing will go into the comment. Fine. So easier way for an approver to approve it. So just reply it. Just reply this email, Manjit. So if you want to approve, you can use any of these three words: approve, approved, or yes, whatever. Just say approve and reply. Send it. Yes. Now that should also go ahead and approve the request. So the record will get approved. Wherever it is. Here it is. Okay. So if I update this record now, shows approved again. So this time he has approved it through the email. You can see it again got approved. It was submitted, it again got approved, and this time it was done through an email. Clear? So that's another way of getting approvals. Again, depends, whether your approver is comfortable with that email response thing, whether he wants to approve through email response, or he wants to approve by clicking on the link. Depending on that, you will enable the approval response or not. Okay. The problem with this email response is anyone can approve. I mean, if I am using your email, I can also do that. It does not require you to log in with the login ID password, right? So there's a little bit concern for the security reason, right? But otherwise, there's a faster way of doing things. All right. Tell me if you have any questions related to this approval process and what we discussed today. Any doubts, questions, anyone?
Yeah, Jeet, I mean, when we are using the email for the approval process, I believe the email address would be used as an identifier to, come and update this pick list field, right?
Yes, right.
Okay.
All right. So, okay.